Hello and a warm welcome. This is the news on International, reaching you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. My name is Justin Bemunyi and Shegun Ajay is the sign language interpreter. First, let's look at the top stories. Tunisia severs ties with International Monetary Fund. International Submarine Cable Resilience Summit in progress with global telecommunications experts calling for protection of key elements of global connectivity. And National Assembly continues engagement on tax reforms. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Russia and U.S. officials met in Istanbul on Thursday for talks on resolving embassy issues as the two countries aim to restore ties and reset relations under Donald Trump's presidency. Chukwunoso Abweze reports.
The talks held at the U.S. Consul General's residence is coming after this month's first high-level meeting between the two nuclear powers since the start of Russia's Ukraine offensive. U.S. President Donald Trump has sought to amend relations with Moscow since coming to office last month, reaching out to Russian leader Vladimir Putin and initiating high-level talks with Kremlin officials for the first time in over 3 years. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters that restoring ruptured ties with the United States was a process, stating that no one expects decisions to be easy and quick. However, with the political will of the two countries and the willingness to listen to and hear each other, we will be able to get through this working process, he affirmed. The talks in Istanbul, which ended after almost 6.5 hours, are aimed at normalizing the work of their diplomatic missions after each expelled embassy staff during former U.S. President Joe Biden's administration. The United States sided with Russia twice Monday in votes at the United Nations seeking to avoid condemnation of Moscow's offensive against its neighbor launched 3 years ago. NATO member Turkey has sought to play a role in negotiations to end hostilities in Ukraine, twice hosting direct negotiations between Moscow and Kiev in March 2022. Russian President Vladimir Putin says initial Russia-US talks give some hope of resolving problems like the Ukraine conflict. He said the first contacts with the new U.S. administration give some hope, emphasizing that there is a mutual desire to work on restoring relations. Putin stated this at a meeting of the FSB security agency on Thursday. Chukwunoso Abweze, NTA News.
Now, two explosions rocked the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo's city of Bukavu on Thursday. Again, Chukwunoso Abweze reports that the incidents occurred after a rally of the M23 attended by one of the armed group's leaders, Colonel Nangaa.
Gunfire and explosions sent crowds fleeing in panic as mass rally at Independence Square led by rebel leader Colonel Nangaa turned chaotic. The first explosion was said to have caused panic, sending spectators fleeing before a second explosion rang out, with an unofficial report putting the death toll at about 7. Bukavu is one of the two key cities in the region seized in recent weeks by anti-government M23 fighters, who UN experts say are backed by Rwandan forces. The M23 took control of South Kivu provincial capital Bukavu over a week ago after capturing Goma, the capital of North Kivu and the main city in the country's east, late last month. The Eastern DRC has been the scene of decades of relentless conflict, but has been plunged into fresh turmoil as fighters from the M23 group seized portions of territory in the two provinces. Hundreds of people had gathered at the rally before it was interrupted by the explosions. Chukwunoso Abweze, NTA News.
Now, Tunisia has severed all communication with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, following claims from President Kais Saied that the IMF is overstepping its role and interfering in the country's economic sovereignty. The move reflects rising tensions between the Tunisian government and the global financial institution, has been a key partner in providing financial assistance to the North African nation in recent years, particularly as the country was facing economic challenges.
Tunisian authorities and IMF leaders agreed on a bailout loan in October 2022, but President Kais Saied refused to sign the deal, saying that foreign diktats will lead to more poverty.
Regarding the IMF, foreign dictates that will lead to more poverty are unacceptable. The alternative is to rely on ourselves.
Tunisia has rejected most of the IMF's conditions, which include austerity measures such as subsidy and public wage bill cuts. The country's subsidies on fuel and food have been in place for several decades to provide households with affordable access to essential goods.
The conditions imposed by the IMF are harsh and unfair towards the population. Removing the subsidy system is impossible in Tunisia because it has social repercussions. Reducing the public sector wage bill must be gradual and not sudden. These measures are not suitable for the country's social and economic situation. We can make our own structural reforms without dealing with the IMF.
In 2013 and 2016, the IMF issued two separate loans to Tunisia, the first comprising $1.74 billion and the second comprising $2.9 billion.
Knowing the loan has had noteworthy effects on the economy. There was no economic growth, no investment, and no job creation because the loans were being used to pay for salaries and state expenditure. Effective reform should come from within. Currently, the IMF loans and conditions are not suitable for the economy.
Tunisia paid $4 billion of foreign debt in 2024, an increase of 40% compared with 2023, without defaulting. North African state also repaid 20% of its public debt services in the first month of 2025. Despite gloomy predictions, Tunisia continues to honor its financial commitments. Authorities are looking for long-term sustainable solutions without borrowing more money from the IMF.
Let's now move to Morocco, where Minister of Transport and Logistics Abdessamad Kayo has held talks with Minister of Foreign Affairs, Cooperation and Regional Integration of the Republic of Cape Verde, Jose Filomeno de Carvalho Diaz Monteiro, who is on a visit to the kingdom. Now, these talks held in Rabat focused on strengthening exchanges and consolidating bilateral cooperation in several areas, particularly transport and logistics. Mr. Kayo highlighted the strength of the ties between the Kingdom of Morocco and the Republic of Cape Verde, adding that the two countries wish to strengthen their cooperation in the fields of logistics, air, rail, road and maritime transport. The minister stressed the importance of encouraging the sharing of expertise and knowledge to accelerate the implementation of structuring projects. He also stressed the need to deepen economic and trade cooperation, as well as promote initiatives involving the private sectors of the two countries, noting that the upcoming Morocco-Cape Verde Joint Committee should constitute a platform for coordination in order to achieve the set objectives. Nigerians in Diaspora Commission (NIDCOM), in collaboration with the Nigerian Institute of Social and Economic Research, are engaging stakeholders in improving the design and implementation of the study on diasporans' contribution to national development. Deborah Bala Bogbo reports that the focus was on a 6-continent survey of Nigerian professionals in diaspora, policy measures for harnessing contributions to national development.
The collaborative workshop is organized to introduce the proposed study to relevant stakeholders, including government ministries, departments and agencies, professional bodies, Nigeria diaspora organizations, embassies of selected countries, and the academia. NIDCOM boss Abike Dabri Erewa says the policy measures to enhance Diaspora contribution for national development include creating investment opportunities, establishing diaspora-specific investment funds, facilitating knowledge transfer through mentorship and training programs, enabling easier access to markets and networks in their home country.
Where are they? What are they doing? We're even saying that even those that have returned home will be doing a lot of research on, how we can improve this engagement. So I'm glad about this collaboration with NISA, and I believe that it's going to have a lot of positive impact on information and data management as it concerns the diaspora.
Research is going to be conducted outside the country, but we can't go out without an agency like NIDCOM opening the door for us, saying that we know them, we support the work that they are doing, and we want you to respond to them.
Stakeholders describe the collaboration as a dynamic duo which will spark a deepening of policy that will harness diaspora contributions. In Abuja, Deborah Balagubo, NTA News.
The International Submarine Cable Resilience Summit is in progress with renowned global telecommunications experts calling for more protection and securing of this key element of global connectivity. The conference aimed at taking far-reaching measures to ensure sustainable telecommunication is holding in Abuja. Ayodeji Makinde reports.
Submarine cables carry 99% of world data traffic, serving as one of the backbones for digital economy of nation-states. With over 1.4 million submarine cables laid in different territorial seabeds around the world, cases of damages have led to global internet disruptions, as experienced in Nigeria in February 2024, affecting financial markets, digital trade and governance. In a deliberate attempt to make these submarine cables less susceptible to threats, experts from over 40 countries converged on Abuja for the International Submarine Cable Resilience Summit. Leading advocates and the International Advisory Board, co-chaired by Nigeria's Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, commit to strengthening global efforts and protection based on technical merits.
We have taken decisive steps as a nation to recognize and protect telecommunications infrastructure as critical national infrastructure.
By better anticipating risks, we can better prepare for swift, coordinated action in response.
Our role is to promote open conversation, build trust, and ensure that submarine cable networks remain protected and resilient for the benefit of the global community.
As Nigeria, under President Bola Tinubu, targets a $1 trillion economy, administrators in the digital ecosystem remain focused on domesticating resolutions and, more importantly, preventing another submarine cable cut, which could shut all out of internet connectivity. In Abuja, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
Now, nuns and other Catholic followers prayed Thursday in front of the Gemelli Hospital in Rome for Pope Francis, who was admitted on February 14 and is battling pneumonia in both lungs. The Vatican said the Pope slept well and is resting after revealing the 88-year-old's condition was slightly improving. Nevertheless, both the Vatican and experts warned the pontiff was not out of danger. Francis, who had part of a lung removed as a young man, was admitted to Rome's Gemelli Hospital initially with breathing difficulties. However, his condition deteriorated, sparking fears that the head of the world's nearly 1.4 billion Catholics might not pull through. On Wednesday, the Vatican said a computed tomography scan performed Tuesday had showed normal progression of the pulmonary inflammatory condition, while blood tests on Wednesday confirmed the improvement. It also said that a mild renal insufficiency detected at the weekend had been resolved. As Catholics across the globe pray for Francis, doctors have warned that the path to recovery could be long, with the Jesuit pontiff likely staying in hospital beyond this week. Now, the vision of President Tinubu is to create a fair, transparent, and efficient tax system that will drive economic growth, encourage investment, and ultimately improve the standard of living for all citizens. Stakeholders have, in the last 3 days, been brainstorming with lawmakers on the legislative framework. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The federal government introduced the proposed policy on tax reforms. Some segments of the public expressed reservations. The intense consultations and engagements with stakeholders by both chambers of the National Assembly have paid off, as confirmed by the Senior Special Assistant to President Tinubu on National Assembly Matters Senate, Senator Bashir Ladu.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, has the nation's best interest at heart in introducing these reforms. It will improve investments and also ultimately improve the standard of living for all Nigerians.
They would be able, with the VAT offices, they will be able to know exactly what Kano is contributing, and they will be able now to apply that in the derivation principle.
Meanwhile, the Senate Committee on Local Content has reiterated its resolve to ensure improved business environments for economic growth and job creation.
When we're talking about local content, we always think about the oil and gas. It is not. It also concerns the matured industries, construction, manufacturing. Are they able to apply local content in their own area of operation? So we'll be interested in the matured industry as well as the oil and gas industry sector.
In another development, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Megari Dingyadi, has reassured Nigerians that at the heart of the Renewed Hope agenda is the desire to develop the capacity of citizens to compete favorably with contemporaries across the world.
We are going to work together to ensure that we improve the services that we are providing to Nigerian workers, to Nigerians in general, and to our dear country.
When we train these people, they will become industrialists, they become entrepreneurs, and the unemployment will be reduced. So tomorrow you will not even see, okay, what is NTA doing?
We would not want to watch Nigerians being exploited. We would not want to watch Nigerians' welfare being tampered with. We would not stay to watch Nigerians and employers not obeying what the Constitution says.
The Senate Committee on Labour has asked agencies under the ministry to do more on skills development among the youth population. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. Time for a short break. Stay tuned. Now, in order to deepen financial inclusion and expand access to affordable mortgage finance for home ownership, the current management of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria says it has obtained CBN's approval for the commencement of non-interest mortgage loans for Nigerians. Francis Odojo reports that this achievement is one out of many recorded by the agency in the last 1 year.
FMBN is one of the leading financial institutions of government that focuses on effective delivery of affordable housing solutions to Nigerians. For FMBN, the CBN approval of non-interest mortgage loan for segments of Nigeria's population is unprecedented. With Nigeria's estimated housing deficit of 28 million and in line with the renewed hope housing agenda of President Tinubu to provide affordable houses and reduce the deficit, FMBN waded in, providing a 100 billion off-takers guarantee for the project nationwide. Briefing newsmen on other operational performance and successes recorded, the MD and Chief Executive Officer of FMBN, Shehu Usman Osidi, revealed that collections under the National Housing Fund grew by 3 billion naira in 2024, resulting into 103 billion naira compared to the 100 billion naira the bank recorded in 2023. Under the FMBN's loan operations, 71.5 billion naira was approved in the past year compared to 39.7 billion naira in 2023, while in the FMBN's refund operations, 14.4 billion naira was refunded to 44,333 beneficiaries compared to 13.2 billion naira refunded to 40,426 beneficiaries in 2023. These efforts, the MD said, are geared toward providing access to housing solutions.
Another significant achievement here is the resumption of Kano State civil servants back into the NHF scheme after 24 years of being out of the scheme. This will impact positively on the NHF collections in 2025 as Kano State has a workforce of over 160,000 civil servants.
To ensure effective service delivery and resources utilization, the MD of the bank, Shehu Osidi, noted the institution maintained prudent financial management, which resulted in the operational surplus of 11.58 billion naira in management account for year 2024. Partnership with key stakeholders like state governments and international banks to provide access finance for students' hostel accommodation scheme, owner-occupier program for civil servants are priorities for FMBN.
In the past 1 year, through our strategic focus on revenue growth, prudent financial management, and cost efficiency measures, we reduced operational expenses while maintaining service excellence. These achievements underscore our commitment to ensuring that FMBN remains a financially viable institution, capable of fulfilling its mandate of driving affordable home ownership in Nigeria.
Among FMBN's strategic plans for year 2025 are completion of all ongoing projects for offtake, review of FMBN and NHF acts, as well as recovery of wrongful deductions from FMBN's operational accounts. The current management of FMBN assumed office February last year. Francis Udojo, NTA News.
The former Nigerian permanent representative to the United Nations, along with environmentalists and farmers, is advocating the adoption of climate-smart agriculture as a means to address conflicts in rural farming communities. Now, this was underscored during a national dialogue on peace and smart agriculture held in Abuja. Musabali reports.
The National Dialogue on Peace and Climate-Smart Agriculture has underscored the pressing need to address the challenges faced by farming communities affected by drought, desertification, and flooding. These environmental issues have displaced millions, leading to migration and intensified competition for arable land, which often results in conflicts among communities.
Now, this thing we are doing is to marry the conflict-restricted things that come up as a result of climate change. We know that climate change has made water non-accessible to the livestock farmers. It has made grass or food for them less available. It has made the changing of the climate.
The dialogue, spearheaded by the Women Farmers Advocate Network in partnership with the United Nations Positive Livelihood Award Center, aimed to highlight these issues and seek collaborative solutions.
Ammunitions may not help. Focus group discussions can help. Ammunitions may not help. Key performance indicators can help. Ammunitions may not help, but friendly and cordial relationship will help us to solve this problem.
Former Nigerian permanent representative to the United Nations, Professor Tijani Mohamed Bande, emphasized the significance of understanding local context, empowering communities, and promoting interreligious dialogue as essential strategies for building lasting peace in rural areas.
This issue of abusing everyone else who has a different view from you has not taken us anywhere, and it has not been like this all the time. We have made progress. We have seen moments of regression. Let us ensure that from now on we implement what is helpful for Nigeria, for the continent.
In addition to this discussion, traditional rulers and media representatives advocated for ongoing dialogue and understanding among various communities to foster progress and national unity. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The Road Safety Officers Wives Association, ROSOWA, has called for greater collaboration with the National Council of Women's Societies, NCWS, to address underage driving and promote road safety awareness across the country. Speaking during a Kutsa visit to NCWS, ROSOWA President Dr. Nafisat Shehu Mohammed stressed the need for joint efforts in discouraging underage driving, enlightening the public on seatbelt use, child restraints, and empowering women through skill acquisition. She reiterated ROSOWA's commitment to aligning with the Renewed Hope initiative through NCWS and engaging in other developmental partnerships. On her part, NCWS President Princess Edna Azura described the partnership as a significant step towards enhancing road safety and advancing women's empowerment. This is where we end the news on International. Thanks for being a part of it. My name is Justin Bemuni.